Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, Habibis. We are live on Don Husam, ladies and gentlemen. There's people still asking about the new setup, guys. The paint guy is coming tomorrow. The internet fiber guy, we're still talking to him. It's being built, guys. We're building a castle in the other room, so you need to chill. You guys might have to hold it for one more Premier League weekend, but listen, the big one next week, inshallah, Liverpool, Man United. After this week, guaranteed, inshallah, the studio will be there. So step by step, we're getting to that level. We appreciate all you guys' patience. You get me? I think I underestimated all the work that needs to be done, to kind of just build the studio. Maybe I should have started a bit earlier, but we're getting there. Step by step by step by step. And factually, I've spent more money than FSG this summer. I've upgraded, the club haven't. Big up to all of you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. There's already 400 people in the house. We ain't even started yet. We ain't even done anything yet. So let's get the likes up. Subscribe. I want you all involved in the chat as well. 100 likes ASAP. Because today's stream is going to be one hell of a stream, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys can see on the thumbnail, as you guys saw on the wallpaper behind when we first introduced the channel. Usually when I introduce my guests, I introduce them one by one. But this one, it's like a tag team, It's like a tag team. The Brothers of Destruction, Kane and The Undertaker. If you want to mention elite WWE tag teams, you could go down the Hardy Boys route, Many people. You could go the Dudley Boys. There's many people that you can call them. But these guys have been making noise now for the last year, even though Asim gave me a horrible introduction on his channel by saying, I used to annoy him on Spaces. Fraud. Anyway, these guys have been making noise in the Liverpool stratosphere over the last year or so. You guys have seen them, do interviews with the likes of Paul Joyce. You've seen them speak to a whole lot of people in the Liverpool fan base. You've seen them get involved in a lot, doing tactical videos as well. Shout out to Waxy, even though you bottled the redirect. We still love you regardless. So joining us on the channel is none other than everyone's favorite Liverpool tag team on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Man like Asim and man like Sajad are in the building. How are you guys doing, man? You guys good?
I like the way how you introduce us as the tag team. Because are you asking for some wrestling today? Is that what you want? Is this propaganda?
We can if you want. I mean, we can. Look who's on the thumbnail.
Husam, it will probably end up being me and you versus him.
Yes, I'm down. That's the heel turn we all want. That's the villain arc of Sajad.
That was some introduction, by the way, man. Respect to you and big up
See,
to
Asim,
you.
that's how you do intros. Not he used to annoy me on Spaces.
Well, you said
thank
thank
you. Spaces.
you.
Wow,
You said
Asim, thank you.
you said thank you for the introduction when I introduced you. Or was Husam being diplomatic? I can't see a
I prefer
diplomatic
the
Husam.
Twitter tweet. The Twitter tweet, if you said that, we only recognize one Don Husam. We're like, whoa, that's an intro right there. This is what's this.
No, but big up, man.
Big up to you guys. Before we get into it, big up to the super chatters. Big up to Bermuda Gunnar says Liverpool is after Lukman, Hinch, Kape, and Simakan. Bermuda Gunnar, my brother. Wallahi, where you get your information from? I have not seen this in any reliable source. Wallahi, when you see a source, ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, don't report it in the chat because no, we don't believe you. I've not seen any of this. We have to get serious sources to report on this stuff, and then I will believe it. And I don't believe it because it's 3 players, But to be fair, Asim did say we'll spend 300, but we'll get there. Big up, Habibi. Realist to the real is what Singh G says. Big up to you, Singh. As well, last time on Born in Red, to be fair, like 99% of the comments were positive. People really loved that episode. Make sure guys go check it out. By the way, their channel is in the description. So just hit the link in the description. Go subscribe to their channel as well. You'll see it. BNR, they put out a tactical video analyzing Ipswich. There's a lot of live streams that are going live later at 10 as well. So check them out. So big up to you, Singh, man. Always supporting the channel, always showing love. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Big up. And big up Redline Teranga, who says odds on FSG asking Richard Hughes to sign himself as the DM. He was a DM in his playing days after all. I did see that earlier on, and I didn't know it, to be fair, but now I do know it. So yeah, it's a mad one still, Redline Teranga. But we will be talking about transfers and all that type of stuff. So big up everyone in the chat. 500 people in here. Mods, keep pushing the likes. Big up everyone. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get this party started. So, you guys know on this channel, we're more like open floors, talk whenever you want. It's not really organized, It's organized chaos, if you'd like Darwin
Oh,
Nunes. So, I just want to start with asking you guys about just your feelings currently on Liverpool Football Club. Obviously with Gundogan going to City, Merino going to Arsenal, and we're just sat there smoking shisha. So, what do you guys think about what's happening at Liverpool right now?
Gene, I know we're a tag team, but we can't speak together as well.
Look, Husam, I'll be honest. I'm pretty worried in terms of, look, we've got 8 days left to the transfer window to close. It seems like we're losing we're losing a player every other day. Granted, that is only probably the fringe players, or it's the youngsters. And to be fair, in terms of outgoings, I'm pretty happy in terms of outgoings, because if at the end of the day, if they're not good enough, we sell, we get rid, bring in the money. And it's probably in terms of these players, they're probably at a stage now where their value is pretty good, because they had a decent, especially the youngsters, they had a decent year last year. They did well in the League Cup games, blah blah blah. So the value is pretty good. So if we're getting the likes of 25 plus 5 million for the likes of Sir Vanderberg, and 23 million plus for Carvalho, then that's a good thing, and I'm happy with it. I think that they're doing that side of it pretty well. The issue that I've got is on the incomings now, where we're sat there still with 8 days to go, still needing a defensive midfielder, still needing a left-sided centre back, and still needing, which I believe, one attacker. And with 8 days to go, we're sat here and we've not seen anything. We're not even seeing any links to any sort of player. We were promised signings that would hopefully come at the start of August, which we know most Liverpool fans were patient. We said, okay, new regime, new structure, new manager, all that sort of stuff. So we took it on the chin and said, fine, no problem. We might have had issues with FSG in the past in terms of their in terms of expenditure, but it's a new regime. We're happy to go with it. Edwards and Hughes are in, so fine. Let's give it some time. Come August, obviously we know exactly what happened with the Zubimendi deal, who I thought would have been a really really good signing for Liverpool. That didn't work out. That went tits up, and we're sat here now with 8 days to go, with news coming out that it looks like if we will only buy a centre back from Ornstein today. That we'll only go into the market if Joe Gomez goes. Anselm van der Berg's, obviously he's gone now. That we'll only to dip into the centre back market if Joe Gomez goes. For me, that's not unacceptable. If Joe Gomez goes, we need two centre backs then, because you're getting rid of two. You've got rid of Matip as well, so you ideally need two. One probably on the left-sided centre back, and one to cover the DM positions. We all know we've been crying out for this position for the last 3 years now. We've sugarcoated it by bringing in the likes of Arthur Melo and Endo, and we simply cannot go into this season with signing nobody. That just doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense. Granted, I'm really, really happy with Gravenberch playing there, but that's not enough. 2.5 games isn't enough for Liverpool to be happy with. That, you know what, we can go into the new season trying to challenge for a title, because that's our level. Our level now is challenging for that title. And we were, to be fair to Klopp last year, we were unlucky. We fell short 10 games to go. So all we needed, it was a big push. A push in terms of bringing in the right players, so we can really go toe to toe with City and Arsenal. I tweeted today and I said, and I mentioned Arsenal. I said, Arsenal a year ago were probably at the same crossroads as us. They probably lost the league by 8-9 points the year before that. They fell slightly short. So what did they do? They went strong in the transfer market. They bought in the likes of Rice. They bought in Kai Havertz. They bought in Timber. They went and spent 200 plus million. And where did they end up? They were unlucky. Fair play to them. They lost the title by a point. They were unlucky. They were real contenders. We are at that stage. This was our season where a new manager's come in. We had to go in and actually back our new manager and back these players, because some of these are at the prime of their power. They've got a year left of their contract. It's probably their last throw of the dice for maybe a Salah, maybe or a Van Dijk, because one of them probably will go, because we're not going to give every single one of them a contract at 300 plus K a week. That's not going to happen. So at least give them a chance to say, okay, let's go again. And that's my issue right now. I'm worried for the last 8 days. I'm not going to lie, because we're not linked to anybody, and I'm going to have to wait and see what happens over the next 8 days. Come 8 days, so Husam, and we don't sign anybody, then it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? And I know you probably come up to me and say, look, Saj, you said the same to me last year. I remember you tweeted saying that, we're going to give him time. We were one player short last year. And granted, you have every right to come to me and say, Saj, remember last year, I'm sure, because people have said this to me, that you said last year, they always seem to leave us one player short. And again, we're now sat here We haven't signed anybody, man, in the whole of the leagues in Europe, top 7 leagues in Europe. But the only club that hasn't signed anybody, that just doesn't sit right with me. And for me, that's criminal, because that is just uncalled for, especially when deep down 99% of the fan base know that we are only 2-3 players away from actually really challenging for the title.
I read your tweet before Assam goes, and I agree with what you said. Like, let's be logical about this, right? And I'm gonna let Assam as well express his feelings. I just want to say something for like 10 seconds. What Sajjad says and what I say, and even what Assam says regarding signings, because Assam agrees with us in terms of like we need signings and stuff. I don't think that like Mo, Virgil, Trent, and Allison are not thinking the same exact thing that we're thinking. Now, someone will come in the chat, be smug, and go like, "Oh, how do you know that for a fact?" And obviously, we don't. But we're just being logical. Like, obviously, these players want to play with new players who can help the team, because they don't want to waste the twilight of their career, kind of just being not successful and stuff. So. I agreed with everything that Sajjad said. I think the players think exactly the way that we do as well, because they need help themselves. Go ahead,
And
Assam, sorry.
I think, Osama, I've just seen your misbah around your wrist, and I think it's time for everybody to get their prayer bead out. It's time. It's time. It's 8 days left. It's time to get and roll those beads, because there's 8 days left. The clock is ticking, and Gene hit the nail on the head. You're right, 100%. If anyone says Liverpool don't need signings, they're practically a liar, or just disillusioned and deluded as well. And those are the correct ways to describe them. I want to win now, Husam. I get the likes of Hughes and the regime has been brought in to make sure Liverpool get the right environment and get the right signings and everything like that. But I want to win now. Why? Because we've still got 4 or 5 world-class elite players. Yeah, in Van Dijk and Alisson and Salah. But the unfortunate thing is, you could argue that we've seen the best of them, but they're still world class. And I don't want to be Liverpool FC, where it's 1 or 2 short FC. We're always 1 or 2 short. We're going to have this legacy summer in the next year or so. We're big enough for Hughes and co to plan and future success our club for the next 5-10 years, and also bring the players to make sure we compete right now. And how far off are we? 1 or 2 signings, 3 signings, absolute max to go again. How many points did we lose the league by last season? 5 to 10. We were top to, with 9 to 10 games to go. So we're not far off. And what does this opportunistic type of signing mean? Liverpool should be positioned the best. We've all seen that graphic from Sky Sports about a week ago, where Liverpool is the only club in the top 5 Europe League. We all know that. We all seen that. We all know what to think of it. But what does opportunistic mean? I'm sure I'm not asking for, I think we were on a show a few years ago. We're not asking for, I don't know, I can't remember who said it. We're not asking for Ferraris. A Toyota Corolla will do. I don't know how good Toyota Corollas are these, but the Japanese are really reliable when it comes to, engines.
It's a reliable car, to be fair. So
it's a reliable car. But my point, Husam, is, we're asking for some upgrades. We're not asking for Mbappe's. We're not asking for, dare I say, Jude Bellingham. Actually, we were a couple of seasons ago. But you know what I mean. So Liverpool are in a position to make sure they go and strengthen this team. Zubimendi, you could argue that we were naive. We were naive a year ago with the Caicedo deal as well. But in terms of this transition, I don't want to be always in transition. Asim's shades are brighter than the future of LFC. But look, Grizzle's
getting a true statement, to be fair.
Shades are brighter than the future of LFC. Which shades? I've got a few shades, but I know what you mean. Well,
I think the one on the thumbnail right here. Look at
them. No. Look, Liverpool's future is bright, but I'm concerned right now because we're in a position where we haven't signed anyone. Our 3 best players haven't signed a contract. We were told August is going to be busy. Well, August has been busy, but it's been busy in terms of signings. We've recouped nearly £80 million. And if Joe Gomez leaves, probably more. And where are the signings? And now I tweeted about a month and a half ago, if you're going to put all your eggs in one basket in the back end of August, then be prepared to work outside your comfort zone. Because I don't want to see these messages and this propaganda through the media where Liverpool went in for a player, but they deemed it as too expensive. Well, what did you expect if you go for a player late on in August? You have to pay a premium, because I don't want this new manager to be, served short. And at the moment, you could say that he has just served nothing but short, where he's asked for a DM, he's highlighted straight away that area that he needs to improve on, and Liverpool failed to bring in Zubimendi. And now there's 2-3 areas where it's glaring holes. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out where Liverpool need to improve. All the fans have been talking about the left back area. All the fans have been talking about the DM area. Now the DM profile has changed. Rather than a destroyer, we want a regulator, we want a conductor. There are plenty of conductors out there. Zubimendi is, would you really call him elite? I'm not going to lie and say I've been watching Zubimendi week in, week out, but judging by what the compilations I've seen, some matches I've seen, and judging by the stats, he's not elite. He's not elite. There's still plenty of upgrades that we can have from Endo. Now, Ryan Gravenberch is a good player, just like, Gene touched on. He's got the legs. He's got, he can evade the press really well. But there are plenty more upgrades that we can have in that area. But 8 days now, Husam, the pressure is on. And I don't want Liverpool to come out back at the wrong side of the window in a worse off position than we faced ourselves before Slot came in.
Earlier on today, I did a pre-recorded video on the Liverpool transfer window. And one guy called me in the chat. What was it called again? One guy called me a Karen, and the other guy kind of said that I'm demanding too much from the club. And Husam touched on it there. We're not asking for Kylian Mbappe. We're not asking for Camavinga. We're not asking for Musiala. We're asking for signings that any top 6 club is capable of, including Spurs, by the way. Ait Nouri is a player that Tottenham Hotspur can sign. Ederson or Varela is a player that Tottenham Hotspur can sign. Hell, even Anthony Gordon could probably move to a top 6 club without having any problem with it. My issue is we are always tarnished by the same thing, which is we expect too much, we demand too much. We're not expecting too much. We're not demanding too much. We're demanding and expecting basics. By definition, you lose your greatest ever manager in modern history. Obviously, the greatest ever manager is Bob Paisley, but we're talking about modern history. Modern history, you lose your best ever manager. You're giving Arne Slot the opportunity now to become the Liverpool manager. From the beginning, remember what we were told, guys? That Arne Slot is going to be the head coach and not the manager. This was going to be the main difference. So now I'm not going to change my energy. I don't care how many journalists tell me. I don't care how many top-tier ITKs tell me. I'm not going to believe it. For me, there is no world in which I believe that Arne Slot wanted to sign 0 players. By definition, he assessed the squad. He said we need a DM. I doubt that Arne Slot went to Richard Hughes and the following conversation happened. Get me Martin Zubimendi or no one. I doubt that that's the conversation that happened because it's not realistic. It's not real. Obviously, we aren't in those rooms, but we have to just use just basic logic. Just 1 + 1 = 2. Just real mathematics, real logic, real physics. Just be normal and how you assess things. Obviously, the guy didn't just go like, listen, get me Zubimendi or no one else. Obviously, he didn't say that. Obviously, he did not say that. Probably he said the DM position is the position I'm looking to upgrade on Richard. And then Richard Hughes tried for Zubimendi, whatever it is. They gave him the list. He chose Zubimendi off the list. I get that. But at the end of the day, there are benchmarks and there are floors. So I'll tell you what that means when I say that. The benchmark for the DM position in the world is Rodri. Okay? The benchmark for the winger position in the world is is Vinicius, is the best of the best. Now, the problem is certain positions on this team, we have closer to floors than we do like upper echelon best of the best, DM included. Ryan Gravenberch. I think the worst thing to happen to us is that we played Ipswich in the first game. Because that was a game, let's be honest, even if we played Endo or Curtis Jones or whoever it is, hell, even Szoboszlai in the DM, it wouldn't be like, oh my God, it's going to be such a difficult fixture. Like, at the end of the day, it was Ipswich, newly promoted side. They just came up. They had their moments here and there, but at the end of the day, we were always going to win the game. So, for me, we're not backing the manager. We're not backing Arne Slot. We're not backing his needs. We're not backing his requirements. And I think even us three could probably solve the Liverpool problem with the 70 million worth of sales that we got, and I'm not even exaggerating, Ederson is probably, and I know you guys probably agree with this as well, the easiest transfer to make in the whole world right now. I genuinely believe, that Ederson could be a Liverpool player in the next 30 minutes if we wanted it. Because he's in our price range, he's in our age range, he's the position that we need, and he would say yes directly to Liverpool. Nouri the same. So you're talking about 30 million, 40 million. I mean, people want us to big up Richard Hughes for sales, guys. But at the end of the day, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a, masters of business management. I studied chemical engineering, but I'm not like a financial expert. I'm not going to sit up here and celebrate wage bills and net spends and all of this. The sales have been phenomenal. Yes, you got 30 million for Carvalho and all that. But that money used to be built to build Liverpool into the next level. And what Sajjad said is spot on. Because no one's asking for anything extravagant. We just need 2-3 players.
Yeah.
Well, where are they? That's the question. So what do you guys think is going to happen in the next 8 to 9 days, if you would like, because by this time, today's Thursday, by this next Thursday is going to be 1 day left only, exactly 24 hours. So what do you guys think?
I'll ask him to take that.
Look,
300 million, Hassan?
Look, that was just a tongue-in-cheek comment. But when you say some silly things, I started getting them. My phone blew up. I started getting messages saying, Asim, this is just off radar. This is not like you. You normally, whatever you say normally is just to the point. But look, it was a tongue-in-cheek. Liverpool, I'm not going to spend 300 million in 10 years. Never mind on the last day. Let's be honest. But in terms of my expectations have been lowering, Husam. They have to be. The clock is ticking, like I said. There's 8 days to go. We've got probably a few more outgoings, maybe Tyler Morton, Gomez. And we were having this conversation on WhatsApp, and a few mates were saying, look, you have to see this as a 1 or 2 year succession planning. And this is a massive exodus and is a massive reset from Hughes and, Edwards. And I get that. A new regime has come. About 42 people have come in, and the staff is different. The ideas are different. The philosophy is different. 100%. I get it. But tell me we don't have the capacity to sign a couple of players. But look, we've discussed that. But in terms of going forward for the next 8 days, I still think I predicted all summer we're going to sign 2 players. If I'm really honest, and I go with my heart than my mind, I think we'll only bring 1 in. We'll still complete the Mamoucheli goalkeeping situation. We'll go send him back to Valencia, and that will complete 2 signings. My earlier prediction in the summer that we could bring 2 and do something like that, what we're doing with the keeper. But I'd be very, very shocked now if Liverpool bring 2 signings in the last 8 days. And we've seen the likes of Fabrizio saying Liverpool are working hard behind the scenes and stuff like that. But I don't know. In the DM area, you mentioned Ederson. I don't think he's a Liverpool slot player. I think he was more suited to Jurgen Klopp, where I think he's more of a box-to-box player. He wanted a conductor. He wanted a regulator. If you check his, again, hold my hands up. I'm not a big fan or a big watcher of the Italian league. Husam, if you watch him, he carries the ball really well, but is he that guy who can evade the press? Do a lot of stuff under pressure?
I think he can, personally.
Okay. But because I've checked out is because anyone can receive the ball in open space. What I try to look at is, do they receive it under pressure? And someone like Zubimendi, I think there was a really interesting stat that I read about him. When he receives it under pressure, his pass completion only decreases by -3% over the season. That is really, really good. And Ederson's numbers are not that. I think he's got really good energy. He's played really well against us as well, even though that shouldn't be the blueprint of if you play really, really well with us. I know where you're coming. With that. Darwin Núñez had a good game against Liverpool when we bought him. I know where you're coming. But look, I think there's still plenty of conductors. And this is the reason why that's why he's gone to Gravenberch. A lot of people have said Curtis Jones should be the 6. Szoboszlai, I think Jake was on our channel and saying he should be our 6. But I think in terms of profile, Gravenberch has got the long legs, the hips, the pressing evasion. and the progressive passing, whether it's through passing or breaking the lines through passing or breaking the lines through carrying the ball. I think he suits that. Whether he's the answer, time will tell. I'm not so sure in the big games we were discussing on BNR, but just to sort of sum up, I'm not confident. I'm not
Yeah, but you
confident.
mentioned it there. You know, you're talking about the big games. I asked you straight away last time we spoke. I said away at the Etihad, Gravenberg at DM.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Because that's the real test I'm asking you guys. Because away at the Etihad, to a smaller degree, is away at the Emirates and is away at Old Trafford because of the rivalry, and it's away at Spurs and it's away at these clubs, and even at home to City, at home to Arsenal. Like
But
these are the thing, and the fact that you're describing a football player with legs and hips shows me that you're clutching at straws.
no, because
That's what we need. Like,
Husam, these are very, very important. Like, for example, ball manipulation and body manipulation in terms of Robertson in the back line of defense. Why are we all crying out for a new left back? He was really good. And check out I know you've given our tactic shows a plug, but we discussed this in there. Why is Robertson better ahead of the ball? Is because he doesn't have the technical ability and the ability to receive under pressure. How? His body position. There was 2, 3, 4 times on occasions where he tried to play the ball into midfield. But because of his angle bias towards playing the ball down the line all the time, he struggles to play the ball into midfield. And I'll come back to Gravenberg. If you don't have the mobility to be pressed, especially in the second half of that game where he was receiving the ball, everyone's been talking about this 4-2-3-1. We were playing a 4-3-3 where he was playing and receiving as a single pivot. Then you need the hips and the mobility to evade the press because you don't have that extra security of a second pivot. And when you mention Gravenberg, that it's not just on him, Husam. The question mark is on everybody else as well. The likes of Kanate, the likes of Robertson, the likes of Trent. When you're receiving in deep areas against the likes of Arsenal and against the likes of City, where the press is really, really aggressive, then we'll see how good you are. Because at the moment, we're playing this really controlled system. And you could argue, first half, Ipswich didn't allow us to play the slot way. We had to revert to a Klopp way in the second half, where we had to bypass the press. We won a lot of second balls. We pushed Robbo on the halfway line and said, okay, you're better ahead of the ball. This is what happened. So the acid test for Klopp and the likes of Gravenberg is, can you do it on the big day? But with any new coach, it's not going to happen overnight, Husam. It's going to take time.
No, I'm not talking about it happening overnight. My issue is the following, Asim. My issue is the following. You were talking about Ederson, let's say, not being a Liverpool-style player. Okay, no problem. Or a slot-style player. Robertson is not a slot-style player.
No.
Szoboszlai is not a slot-style player. Konate is not a slot-style player.
What I would say, Szoboszlai has got over Robertson. He's got technical ability. He can receive in deep areas. Hence why he goes into the double pivot as well. When McAllister pushes, he can receive the ball under pressure.
You mean Szoboszlai, right?
So yeah, Szoboszlai can.
I'm not saying Szoboszlai is a bad player at all. I'm just saying the prototype isn't necessarily the slot.
I get what you're saying. He's vertical.
So Ederson might not be Rodri or even Zubimendi. He might be slightly more defensive, but at least he's a natural DM and can play there. You know.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
Because you both have been watching football for a long time. You guys know who the manager of Atalanta is, right?
Yeah.
The manager of Atlanta?
Yes, of course.
The grey-haired fella.
Yes, Gasperini.
That's the one.
Gasperini is the manager of Atalanta. And Gasperini got sacked at Inter Milan for playing too offensive football. Because the football was so forward. Like, he is a gung-ho football type guy.
Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, I don't think a DM in a very attacking style at Atalanta can't play for us. If you get what I'm saying. So that's
I get what you're saying. Where you have to compromise on, ball retention, and you make that up with legs and ball progressiveness through carrying and box to box.
And by the way, the thing that I said unlocks Gravenberg. Everything you said about Gravenberg becomes better if I put Ederson next to him. Because I tell Gravenberg, go and cook and dictate and create and run with the ball and carry with the ball and become the 8 that we need. Think of this: Ederson in the 6, McAllister and Gravenberch as the 8s. You don't think that works? That works.
Edison as
For
the
me,
6 and Gravenberch and
yeah.
Yeah, Gravenberch, McAllister.
Look,
That's a booking midfield
that
too.
listen, that no, I'll be honest with you, Sam. I think that's a good midfield. My issue with only that is in terms of energy, in terms of because of what Szoboszlai does for Liverpool in terms of up and down, giving us in terms of he's always the first one to press. He gives you he entices the press every single time. You will definitely miss Szoboszlai's energy in that area when you're playing against. Because granted, in terms of technical ability, them three will play really, really well. Off the ball, what Szoboszlai gives you in terms of a slot system as well, the way he goes, there's not many players that in world football that possess what Szoboszlai does off the ball. Granted, on the ball, that he needs improvement. We've all seen how his passing hasn't been at the races. There's still improvements to be made. But off the ball, his numbers and the way he plays is off the scale. But look, I'm going to come to how I'd feel, how many I feel. Look, so some at the start of the season, I wanted three plus another one, like a
Same.
Mamadashvili. Yeah,
Same.
that's the truth, because we all know three were the positions we were going to go for that needed sorting out this season, because we definitely know what needs sorting out next season. Because you can't take from this season and say, okay, Salah might be going next season, so you've got that to deal with. Van Dijk might be going. You can't not do anything this summer. Wait for the next summer and say that's going to be our, legacy summers when you've got two of the greatest footballers that have ever played for Liverpool Football Club might be leaving, right? So it's impossible for you to go and do that on 5 players. The biggest fear I have is if we don't buy now. Number one, you guys have mentioned Gravenberch. I like him in this position, but like you mentioned, the fear is, the fear is there's not going to be. We just don't have enough. We're going to be sat here after one injury. We're going to be sat here crying, saying, why the F didn't we buy a player? We had the money. We had 70, 80 million sat in the bank. Why didn't we go and spend all that money then? We waited all this time. We're going to be sat arguing, crying, flipping, fighting with each other over the same thing. I know your streams. I see your streams. You're going to be ranting and raving. I'm probably going to be say the same because I'm like that.
But we'll get you on board together. Don't worry.
Not in that time, man. We're going to bring the house down, man.
Don't let Avi interrupt him. Go on, go on, Sajjad. Let's go.
No, but on a serious note, we just need. I think I genuinely believe we're going to bring 2 players in. I think one's going to be Anthony Gordon, though. And I've maintained this. I think Anthony Gordon is going to be one. And I think we're bringing in a centre-back. Because I think Gomez will leave.
But here's my thing is, like, if we sign a centre-back after selling Gomez, then that's just kind of replacing a centre-back with a centre-back. Like, that's not really doing anything, is it? Like, that's the thing that I
wanted a left-sided centre. If Gomez goes, look, ideally, I would let Tsimikas go. Ideally, you would let Tsimikas go. You may even let Gomez go. You bring in a proper left-sided centre-back who's not, like Asim mentioned in his tweet, is not one that's going to go be bombing all forward, who's good enough on the ball, technically good, can invert, has all them attributes, and then you bring in a centre-back. That covers your centre-back positions then, right? So you bring 2. You need a DM and you need a forward. This is why we need 4 players. But, again, we will be sold short. And that's where we're at. And I'm not going to lie, look, me, I'm not one of them I'm never a fan of FSG. I don't think I ever will be and never will, right? That's just the way it is. Because I just feel as though they always left us one short and we could have had 21 titles by now if it wasn't for them guys, right? But I genuinely thought Edwards, Hughes, these guys have come in. You come in, you want to put a marker down, man. You want to let the world know that, you know what, we're here, Liverpool Football Club's here, we're ready to go. We only need 2 or 3 players. We're behind our manager, we're backing our manager. Mate, go for him. They've come in here, brought in 80 to 100 million plus, but haven't bought anything. As fans, you look forward, to an extent, you look forward to the transfer season. Who's going to come in? Which player's going to come in? So we go into the season, with a bit of oomph. We're going into, yes, we won the first game. We probably will beat Brentford as well. But we're going into the season feeling down, man. When do you ever want to go into a season feeling slightly down, thinking we could have really challenged? We're going into the season thinking, you know what? 3rd place, mate. Probably where we're going to be. They're going to be there. That's where we're going to be. Whereas 2 months ago, when the season finished, we probably thought 2 more players were ready to go for the title. But if with season just kicked off and we're sort of accepting third sort of place. Look, honestly, I might do an amazing job. I might get us into a title race, but who in the right frame of mind is going to come to me and say, you know what, boys, Liverpool's going to actually go and win the title without signing a player? That's a lot of bullshit. That's not going to happen.
We're not. Yeah, that is true.
Exactly. We're not going to
Sajjad,
happen.
I have a question for you because you mentioned something that low-key we actually haven't spoken about for the last 2 days, which is something that happens to every football club. Injuries. Okay? When Konate and Jota gets injured, because it's not an if, it's a when. We just go based off of evidence. Let's be real, guys. If tomorrow you wake up, you see Jota's injured, are you going to be shocked? Wallahi, be honest. Are you going to be shocked? Are you going to be shocked if Konate gets injured? No. Adi, life carries on and you're used to it. I ask you now a genuine question. Sajjad as well. I want you to, and Asim as well, answer this, but I just want to genuinely get Sajjad's thoughts on this because he brought it up. Here's the thing. Gravenberg, God forbid, gets injured. Or McAllister, God forbid, gets injured. Then what happens to our midfield? Then what? That's where you remember the midfield from 2 years ago.
Yeah, we're going to be sat there. That's exactly where we're going to be. And that's the simple truth. Where we could have been fighting for a title, we're going to be FC UK'd. That's exactly where we're going to be. It's true. It's true though, man. That's exact. Look, this is why I've always go back to. We've been sold short in the past. I don't want to be sold short again. Yeah, as Liverpool fans, look, we get angry, we get peed off. But that's rightly so. Yes, I might not agree with Husam swearing, but I actually, honestly, I actually agree with what he says. I might not agree with his swearing and all that. Don't get me wrong, yeah. But what he says is right. Everybody here wants 3 signings. We're all on the same page. Do you understand? We're all on the same page. We actually want our football club to grow. We've brought in a new manager. They should be backed. Deep down, we know FSG sold us short. Everybody knows this. Nobody can come to me and you and say, you know what? They were unbelievable owners. They backed the manager whenever he needed. Because the truth is, Klopp said I wanted to take more risks, and we didn't because the purse strings were tight. That's just the way it is. So we could have gone and done a few more madnesses, but maybe we didn't because we just didn't take risks. People will come to me and say, oh, you look at other clubs and, they went crazy on spending and look what they did. But we've never been crazy on spending. Tell me a summer where we've actually said, you know what? That was our summer. And please don't come to me with Alisson, Keita and thingy signings because that was the Coutinho money. Yeah. We've never really gone and said we're ready to go to the next level. Arsenal, before Kroenke went on a mad one and said, you know what? They were fourth. They were fighting for the Champions League, sat in 5th. They got to where they are by Arteta spending 700 million. So you have to spend. Man City here, they buy 2 unbelievable players every season. Maybe not this season, but they generally spend two 70-80 million pound players every year to get to where they are. We were at the pinnacle of world football, right? All we had to do was just spend two great players, 60-70 million for the next 4 to 5 years, and we would not be sat here today crying. We would say, you know what, boys, we have the Van Dijk replacement, we have the Salah replacement, because we've spent gradually. We win a Champions League, you bring in bloody, I think it was Seb van der Berg and somebody else we bought in that year. Yeah. Guys, you cannot sustain being at that level of a football team by just being static, and that's where we were. We were static. Other teams have caught up. Arsenal have caught up. Now they're the ones that are challenging. Now we have to catch up again. And you're not going to catch up by not spending.
And Sajjad, just before Asim goes, my problem with us, genuinely, is we became smug. Like, we actually became smug. And I'll explain to you how. 4 or 5 years ago, what made Liverpool great is Timo Werner is off, we go sign Jota. Person X is off, we sign person Y. Done, adi, no problem. Yeah. Plan A doesn't want, yalla, plan B. My problem is now we have come to the position and we have come to the conclusion that it's either I'm going to eat a steak or I'm going to starve to death. That's actually genuinely our logic. Because think about it, we're sat there with Wataru Endo, okay? We're sat there with Wataru Endo, with Gravenberg, with whoever. You're offered sometimes a plate of fish and chips, or maybe a plate of pasta, or maybe a plate of biryani. It might not be a tomahawk steak that costs 500 pounds, but at the same time, it's something to keep you full. It's something so you can, listen, we might disagree on Ederson, or we might disagree on a Varela, or we might disagree on a whoever it is, we might disagree, because we're never going to agree 100%. Who's the DM that all the Liverpool fans are going to agree on? No one. No one is going to agree on someone 100%. However, it still is something that helps the team significantly. And the plan makes no sense for me. And I'll tell you why the plan makes no sense. Even with the selling the youngsters thing, all this is great. We're sat here clapping. Well done, Richard Hughes. You sold all these players and shit. Until we're in the third round of the Carabao Cup against Stockport at home, and we have to play Salah, and we have to play Gravenberg, and we have to play all the starters. Then what happens? And God forbid, as I said, when an injury happens, then also what happens? Because now I'm going 5th round Carabao Cup, I'm going quarterfinals the Carabao Cup against a shit team, and I've got to go pull up with my starters because I sold all my youngsters. So that's the stuff that doesn't make sense to me.
And we have a new manager, Husam. If there was a manager like Jurgen Klopp, I know he wanted to go big on the cups, and he had his, loyal players, and he had all this thing about rhythm, and I get it. But he still had the luxury. If Jurgen Klopp played the kids on a Wednesday night in a cup competition against Aston Villa, nobody would bat an eyelid. Nobody, because he's got the trust of the fans. But let's be honest, Arne Slot at the moment, because it's a results business, doesn't have the slot, the trust of the fan base. Yes, he's shown great signs, but at the end of the day, like I said, the results will tell the story in terms of how good he is and how much trust he has in the. It's not earned, and this sort of thing is earned. And although he's had a very good start, he's shown he can make a decision. He showed ruthlessness after 45 minutes, albeit against a kid. In taking Quans off, it was the right decision. And he's making the statements very, very early on and saying, guys, I'm here to win. If I have to upset people, then so be it. And I absolutely love that trait about him. But it's still very, very early days. And what you mentioned there is spot on. When, let's say we have a shit month in the league and the pressure is on to win, and the kids have all gone, who's he going to play? You're 100% right. He can start playing Mohamed Salah. And then, God forbid, what happens? The likes of Kanate have gone injured because he's been running up and down that wing because he's been playing 3 times a week when he really can't. Jota has been playing too many minutes because he's under pressure. Darwin Núñez is putting it over the bar for the last 2 weeks. And that's what's been happening. The pressure is going to be on a new manager. And because it's a results business. And if you've sold him short in the summer, you're only going to reap the rewards. What's going to happen? The consequences are going to be hard over the season. So you're 100% right. We have to improve the squad. And I don't get this business, 42 people left the club and this and that. We're Liverpool Football Club. We shouldn't be asking.
Replacing the canteen lady shouldn't take 3 months. Like, I'm not.
There you go. We've got a coffee bar. We've got a coffee bar. And when you see Liverpool, all we've been told about over the last 4 or 5 years of Sam is there's a new training complex we have to fund. The main stand we have to fund. The Anfield, what else?
But this cycle is never going to end, Asim, because it's new things every year.
100%. So where is the money that needs to be spent now? Where is the Caicedo money? Where is the money that we've recouped over the last 2-3 years? And I've been reading a lot of the finance stuff. Again, I repeat, Liverpool are best positioned to take advantage of, especially as a seller's market. And we tried to take advantage of the Newcastle deal. And I kind of agree with Gene. I think Liverpool will knock on Newcastle's door at the very end of the window, because I believe Anthony Gordon really wants to come to Liverpool. I retweeted yesterday, I think, and it's not based on any information, that I think he will reject a new contract at Newcastle. But when you see all these things and every box is being ticked, every little propaganda every year in, year out is being fed to us, then you have to take a step back and think, you know what? These owners just don't want to win. Because at the moment, we're in a position, for them, it's a really comfy position. Why? Because I think we're really ahead of the 5th and 6th positions, where we're in the 3rd positions in terms of squad depth and first team quality. But we're quite far off, between 2-3 signings far off, to really go and challenge for the Champions League and the league at once. But for them, this is a really cushy position until Chelsea and Tottenham and Man United get their house intact. Then they'll spend 100 to 150 million to go again. But I don't want to be in a position next season where we're replacing Salah again, Van Dijk again, and arguably potentially Trent. And in a year after that, Alisson, where we're short on the left back area. We've replaced a few of them because we had to, just to get the top 4 again. I don't want to be seen as a top 4 club. I want to win now. I want to win continuously, and we should be demanding. This is our right as a Liverpool Football Club fan. We demand to win now, and
Yes.
10 years as well.
Yes. I agree with a lot of what you guys said. Let me just go to the super chats before we carry on the conversations. I can't lie to you guys, man. This has been an unbelievable 40 minutes of the stream so far, because we agree on so much when it comes to the future of this football club. You know, it's not looking the best right now. Big up to AMG Gunnar, who says, by the way, as well, before I get to the super chats, guys, there's 750 people in here. Let's get the likes up. You bunch of frauds. Stop moving like Nunes in front of goal. Actually, hit the like button. Be clinical. Let's get 500 likes ASAP. Big up to you, AMG Gunnar. Big up to Sidi, who says, only buy defensive midfielder if Simicas Gomez goes. I think he means defender. Orsin saying the same. Sign a DM if they see opportunity. Shambles. Hughes plus FSG failure. Letting slot team plus fans down. Opportunities don't come in the last week of the transfer window. Opportunities come in the first month, in the second month, perhaps. Opportunities don't come at the end, Habibi. In order to be opportunistic, you need to take your opportunities at the start of the window, and that's where we messed up. Because Sajjad said something that was really true, but we didn't pick up on it. There are now people going to sell us on a discount or the price that we want or any of this type of shit. Now we have to pay money. Now the player that's worth 30 million is suddenly 40 to his parent club, because you have to think about what he's worth to them. And maybe they don't have time to replace him. Even Ederson, even whoever, someone you don't like, Varela, whatever it is. You think Porto are happy losing their captain now? You think Atalanta are happy losing their DM now? I mean, they play Champions League football. They don't have time for our BS. So even if we have to get stuff done, we have to get shit done ASAP. Big up to my guy, MBA Bilal. That's you. That's his name, right? Big up Bilal.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam, habibi. These collaborations were long overdue. I told everyone we'd raise 100 million this summer from the squad plus youth players alone. I think that's a hard.
He's one of the real ones, Husam. He's actually not a friend. He's our brother as well. So big up Bilal, and he's a massive supporter wherever we go.
Big up Bilal, man. Big up to you, Bilal. Big up. Hughes plus FSG banking on opportunities with 1 week. That's my point, Sadiq. 1 week left. Ain't no more opportunities, brother. Now we have to be a lion. You cannot be a leopard anymore. Asam, you don't want a Ferrari. You got a Ford truck anyways. You know who that's referring to, right?
Ford truck?
Yes, you should.
Is that... Well, there's a lot of chat. Obviously, you brainwashed a lot of people in your chat, haven't you, Sam? So there's a lot.
I don't brainwash people.
A lot of the
people
chat
think whatever they want. I don't brainwash people.
Oh, I know your propaganda. A lot of the chat, they don't even like Szoboszlai. I'm very surprised about that.
That's not me, because I like Szoboszlai.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Szoboszlai. I was just
sometimes you can go.
I don't think he's.
Sometimes the students go against the teacher. It's okay.
Yeah. Listen, the chat disagree with me a lot more than you think. I allow disagreements always.
I'm only joking.
Big up to you. Big up to LFC CR 786, who says FSG would rather finish fourth than spend 150 million and finish second. They've always been the main issue. Winning cost them anyway. They don't want to win. You know, I said something earlier on in my earlier on video. I said, honestly, if you got into a room, John W. Henry, no one was watching, and you offered him top 4 for the next 10 years, would he take it? I genuinely believe the answer would be yes. Genuinely. Because you guarantee me Champions League football for 10 years, I'm taking that. Please don't think he wants to win. That's just not a thing, to be honest with you.
I mean, that was one of the main reasons why he wanted.
Yeah, I think that's the same exact thing. Say that again, sorry?
I said that was one of the main reasons why they wanted the Super League, because it was guaranteed they've got Champions League football every year. That's what it was.
Money.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Bilal Bomba, Asim, I've researched Mario Hermoso or Facundo Medina and David Hanchko equal solidifiers, and Mitoma is better than Diaz. Sometimes listen to me, always, is what Bilal says. You have to respond to that, not me. You have to respond to that.
Some of these names. The thing is, he's a bit of a scout. Well, really good scout. Whenever I need a list to sort of to check out Husam, I send a message to Bilal, and he sends me a massive list, and he really categorizes it. Look at all these accents. Look how he spelled my name. Look at that. Do you see that? And they all really positioned really nicely. But he's very organized, this fella, and he knows his stuff. So big up Bilal. Thank you very much for the super chat again. But
Hermoso, I think that's the Atletico player, by the way. I believe so.
yeah,
That's
I
the
think
Atletico player.
he is. Yeah,
I think Facundo
He's a good
Medina is
player.
he Facundo Medina.
He's a
I think
left
he's
centre back.
Argentinian.
yeah.
Really aggressive Argentinian, I think he is. Hanko, we know a bit about. We've been linked with him. Mitoma, 1v1 quality. I thought I saw Rafa Benitez's overlap. I was so over. Sorry, my
So did
little
I.
one. Sorry about that. My little one walked in. Rafa's overlap, Husam, and he said modern football is all about 1v1 quality in wide areas. Obviously has other aspects as well, but it's going that way. And there's no surprise why Spain did really well with Lamal and what's his name on the other Williams. Really well
Williams.
because they've got that. And Diaz is another player that I think we need to improve on. Mitoma is that player. Has he got the output in terms of goal output? I don't know. Will he get that big move? I don't know, but I think it might be an improvement, but I think we can do better in those areas. And I think Mitoma, can he take the real physical side of the game? I'm not so sure. Is he quite easy to sometimes bully in this league? I think is he a system player? Maybe, but I think he's an improvement on Diaz in terms of dropping a shoulder and leaving your marksman. He can definitely do that better than Diaz. But output in terms of goals, I think that's why we're probably looking at Gordon, where he ticks both boxes last season.
Yeah, that's a well-rounded answer right there. Mito says this window is pure negligence from the club, 100%. This is as negligent as it comes, to be honest with you. Like, negligence is perfect description. Big up to Al Osman, says get ready for Mecca and Endo to play center back after injuries. And then he says you guys are so delusional. If they wanted to sign players, why wouldn't they sign them before they sold players? Which means they didn't have any money to spend before player sales. These owners are losers. FSG overspent last year. They already said it. So that's a collective attack right there from Al Usman. What's you guys' response to it?
Look, in terms of overspent, yeah. Look, my biggest issue is they didn't. There was 115 million sat in the coffers. Okay, granted, we probably would have had to give, what do you call it, Brighton, 40 million up front if it was the Caicedo money. It would have been over the next couple of years that we would have paid for Caicedo. Where is that money, man? Where's that 40, 50 million? Where's this 100 and, 70, 80 million? That's 120, 30 million pounds. Why have you not gone and spent money? It's just baffling. And the biggest thing that I'll tell you, Sam, what gets to me more than anything? For 3 years, everybody told me, Saj, there are no DMs. There are no DMs in thingy. I knew that was all the bullshit in terms of there were no sixes. Now we don't need a six. We need a midfielder now because we play double pivot. So there's no player in world football that's good enough to play for Liverpool in a double pivot. Before it was a six, now it's a double pivot. So where are we going with this, guys? Okay, Endo's not good enough. Fine, no problem. We knew he was not good enough a year ago when we signed him. Everybody knew this, that this was a stopgap. Fine, but then where is the next phase? Where you went for Zubimendi? Where is number 2? There are players out there that you mentioned. Yes, granted, not all of them will tick every single box. And it will, they will require, you're going to require some sort of coaching, some sort of guiding in that position if they're playing for Liverpool. But it's the same with Gravenberch. Gravenberch is going to come and play in this position. He's going to need some tweaking. He's going to need some fine tuning. So that's one. But whoever you bring in, there's always players out there that you're going to have to fine tune because the only perfect player is Rodri, and you haven't got him. There's no other player in world football out there. Exactly. So there's no anybody else. So if you want that player, you're going to have to fine-tune him. So don't come with me like there's no other players in world football that you can't get. Look, I'm right now, honestly, to the Oli Usman, look, right now, it's 8 days. Yeah, Husam's at run, Husam's at the go. I'm telling you right now, in 8 days' time, we don't sign anybody. You're going to see me go on one like I've never heard before because I can't accept it. You can't accept it, though. It comes a time where you think, you know what? They're actually taking the piss. They're taking the piss out of us because of all this that's happened. You can't, and to not back a new manager Yeah, that for me is like you've basically threw him in front of a bus and said, you know what?
That's what they did. I
8 days. I
called
said, I've got 8 days.
I called Arnie Slot. Um, if you're not prepared to call Arnie Slot the manager, then I think you just more or less call him the yes man. Because let's be honest, if your regime is coming, we all heard for the last 2 3 years how Edwards and Klopp, doesn't matter how much they try to mask it, they didn't get on. They had a difference of
Yeah, of
opinion on a
course.
couple of transfers, and it's no coincidence why Julian Ward left the role 6 months after Edwards left, because there was a breakdown of communication. And Jurgen Klopp, which is, I'm not saying it was a bad thing in terms of him getting too much influence, because although Gakpo and Diaz and these guys are decent players, did they really hit those numbers when the start men showed them? Probably not. But this is what happens naturally as well when the likes of Fergie had too much influence at the club, Wenger had too much influence at the club. Sometimes a natural process. But in terms of bringing Arnie Slot, that you're bringing the regime now, that and someone sent it on Twitter today, that why doesn't Hughes sit in the press conference tomorrow? Because
Yeah,
we
he
were
should answer
told,
the questions 100%.
and it's unfair on Arnie Slot. I feel sorry for him. Where this new manager, and I think he's a brilliant coach. Let's not make no mistake about it. He's a brilliant coach. Well, I've seen over 90 minutes at Anfield a couple of weeks ago at the Sevilla game, the instructions, with all due respect, the icon, the legend Jurgen Klopp was. I've not seen coaching on the touchline for the last 5-6 years at Anfield. What I saw in last week, a couple of weeks ago, he's a brilliant coach, and he will prove to be one in my eyes. But in terms of being backed in the market, doesn't matter how good you are in terms of money management, how much of a big hug you have when the player comes off, how great of a coach and mind you are. If you do not get backed in the market, you are rubbish. Look at Guardiola. He spent about 6 months with new fullbacks. I think he bought Danilo, he bought a new keeper, he bought that left back Mendy. Within 6 to 8 months or 12 months, they were all replaced. All replaced.
The goalkeeper was as well.
Bravo. There we are. He came in without kicking the ball. He got rid of Hart. After 12 to 18 months, Bravo was replaced by Edison. And this is what the pressure that Jurgen Klopp had, where he had to get every single signing right. And if he didn't, he had to stick with them for 3-4 years. And that's what happened with the likes of Ox. You're telling me he wasn't frustrated with the likes of Ox and Naby Keita and this and that, but nobody wanted to buy him.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to buy him. So what you do is the pressure is all on this regime. And I have trust in this regime, but I want to win now. I keep repeating it because I'm a fan that has got. I'm all in.
We're not going to win now, though. We're not.
But there you
And
go.
if Salah, Virgil, and these guys leave in the next summer, then you ain't going to win for the next 3 years, Habibi. So get ready for the rough rides on BNR.
There you go.
Because it's not just going to be Sajjad ranting, it's going to be you ranting and everyone else on your channel ranting. So,
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, we have to get it sorted. All great points. My biggest issue with the board that they bought bad vibes while Klopp left a good squad, just needed improvement. Fan feeling empty, and that's the point. And this is spot on. And listen, this is something me, Sajjada, Sim, 99% of the Liverpool fans agree on. You cannot tell me this is a rebuild. You cannot tell me this is like us starting from scratch. There has been no rebuild with 4 world-class players, an elite midfielder like McAllister. That's not rebuild, Habibi. Go look at Spurs, that's rebuild. Go look at Man United now, how crap they are, that's rebuild. Chelsea, that's rebuild. Us, it's not rebuild. Us, we're trying to take the next step. The biggest problem we have is the fact that we're not as bad as Chelsea, Spurs, and these guys. So we're just simply like not gonna drop outside the top 4 if you'd like or something. So
yeah, 100%.
that's the thing. 700 people are in the house, you guys. Final segment before we end the stream.
Smash a like, people. Smash a like.
Yes, make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing. NR is also in the description. So let's get the likes up. 400 likes as we're live because there's 700 people watching us right now. Appreciate and respect every single super chatter as well. Big up everyone for supporting the channel. So now we've spoken about signings and transfers and all this. There's another part that we have to talk about, and that's things that are becoming bigger concerns day in, day out. The Mo contract and the Trent contract specifically. Specifically, those two as the best right-hand side in the world as well. And they're kind of the most spoken about. And let's Sajjad start with this one, and then we'll get Asim's thoughts. So tell me, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Look, if I'm honest with you, Husam, you've got 2 of arguably the best players in the world in their positions. you simply cannot let go. You do whatever it takes to keep them. Salah, what, 32, turning 33. His numbers he will be elite for at least another 2 or 3 seasons, right? And anybody in the right frame of mind would keep Salah. We've seen the likes of Benzema and other players now that have gone on and played on to the elite level of 35, 36, and then went to the likes of Saudi, wherever for their final contract. Salah leaving at the age of 32 at the peak of his power just does not make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense to me. And people will say Salah is not greedy for money. I will tell you now, Salah loves this football club. He's proven that in the past. He's always stayed loyal to us. He could have gone elsewhere last year. He didn't. This year, he didn't. He wants to stay. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. So he wants to stay. Now it's down on the owners to put something down on the table which will entice Salah to stay. Probably a 3-year contract. Salah will probably want a 3-year contract to stay at Liverpool Football Club on the same sort of terms, right? On the same sort of terms. I think if you offered him Salah 350 for the next 3 years, I think he stays. Will Liverpool do that, knowing the way we are, the way our board is? Probably not. I think to make it work, Salah will probably have to accept 2 to make it work, and on maybe slightly less terms, on around 300. He will be going to play until 34, and then you know what? He can go to the likes of Saudi, whatever, that sort of level. That is where you're going to have to be. To say that Liverpool are going to offer him 1-year contract and Salah's going to sign it, forget about it. Salah ain't signing no 1-year extension. Salah will only sign a 2-year extension after his contract. He will do that. I think he will stay because he wants to stay. If we don't do that and he leaves for free, okay, he goes for free, right? Then you need to go and buy his replacement. That replacement is going to cost you a lot of money. Like when I say a lot, I mean, you're talking, if we was to say, look, people mention the players like Kodos, them type of players. West Ham are going to demand stupid money for that. So you're talking 70, 80 million pounds. Trent, on the other hand, is a different level. You're talking a Scouser, born and bred at Liverpool, been here from day one to the end, won everything. He's the next captain of Liverpool Football Club. We know that. He's going to be at the peak of his power for at least the next 5 to 7 years. Do I think he's going to sign? Asim will tell you what my thoughts are, Husam. I think he leaves. I have been saying this before the end of last season that people, I don't know ITK. If anybody is out here, people will tell you I swear at the ITKs. Yeah, I give them a load of abuse because they talk shit. But with me, I just have this feeling.
You
from
swear
what
at your partner? That's crazy.
Yeah, you ask him. Have you not watched my show?
300 million after him, yeah? 300 million.
Him. I thought you meant the other one, Avi. I thought you meant Bluetooth. I was having a go, but honestly,
Husam's got me on Bell on Twitter with his burner.
No, I don't have the notifications on. Wallahi, I don't.
Can you DM me on Twitter? I want to engage with you on Twitter.
No one's gonna know my Twitter. I'm gonna deactivate and come back in the January window.
Osama, I was saying, I genuinely believe Trent will leave. I don't know why. I just feel as though, the vibes towards the end of last season, from what I've seen, he hasn't signed yet. I think it's going to be a struggle. And another thing, I'll tell you why. He's going to want stupid money. We all know. People say 3. I think he's going to want at least 400. 350 is the standard. He's going to want minimum. And he's going to want a 5-year deal.
100%.
So his is a 5 plus 1 6-year deal that he's going to request from us guys. I just think, Liverpool might think, that's too much money. And you know what? We've got Bradley. I'm being honest. I genuinely believe that they will think, we've got Bradley. Do we really need to make this work? The guy's been here, won everything. Maybe we can ship. I think this is what I think, and I genuinely believe he will leave. But Salah leaves, Trent leaves. You think if them two leave, Virgil van Dijk staying?
Nope.
There's your answer, mate.
And we already know Alisson's probably not going to stay as well. That's what
Alisson, we already know. So maybe the club might have an inkling as to where. But look, I'd love Salah. I think if Salah stays, I think all of them stay. I genuinely believe if one of them really signs, they'll all want to stay because there is something growing. But give them something, man. Give them a few players to think, let's entice them in. Give them a couple of players. Give them that kick up the backside that they want and need. And then they're ready to go again because we're only a few to go, man. We're only a few players short. We give them that. These players will go through walls.
How many times have been a few players short? Last summer, and the summer before, and the summer before, and the summer before, and the summer before.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
know that, man. I've been
unfortunately
in
the
the same
reality of the
fucking.
We
situation.
have lost out on our main DM target 3 seasons in a row.
But we don't need a DM, you guys. We don't.
Which shows you, it's just we can't execute. But 100%, Gene's hit the nail on the head, Hussam. How can you justify this new regime has come in, the data laptops, the nerds, the metrics, and these guys are arguably the most influential players not just in the Liverpool team, in the world, in terms of what they do, in terms of stats, and in terms of what they do as footballers in every single phase of the game. Whether you want to build up through Trent, whether you want to ping across through Trent, whether you want some chance creation and a wing play from Salah. Look what masterclass Salah provided. And, you could argue Trent as well. Not just against Ipswich. The guy's a big game player. And if you are saying that this guy's 32 and we can't justify a contract, then how can you justify all of your data analysis is all about numbers? Because when it comes to numbers, the only thing that is deteriorating from Salah is in terms of legs and how much mileage he's covering off the ball. But we can change. He can fine tune his game. He can play on the inside a lot more. He can connect play because he's so good about bringing players into his in the game. So how can you justify that policy? But I'm with Gene. I'm very, very concerned. How have we got into this position where arguably our 3 best players are going to be talking and can talk to third parties come January? How have we done this? It's absolutely, someone said criminal, someone said negligence. All these terms, they relate. And let's see what happens. But I'm very concerned, Osam. Like Gene said,
But you know that the call of Madrid hits differently. And think about it
does hit
from
differently.
Trent's perspective. You're going to play with who? With Mbappe, with Jude, with Vinicius, with
There
Camavinga.
you go.
You know, there is a difference between that and having Diaz and Nunez and Robertson and these
In a
fantastic
brand
players.
spanking new in a brand spanking new stadium that they've built as well.
Did you guys see Salah's pass to Diaz in that game? The Trivela pass. Imagine he wasted an elite pass because he has no football brain. And yeah, I don't want to get into the Diaz argument and stuff, but that contract situation.
Can I just finish, Osam? I'm sorry to interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the worst thing that's happening right now is the lack of respect. Forget everyone else saying Salah's not a world-class footballer and everything. Our own are saying Salah is not a world-class footballer. So how can you have a fan base of driving up and saying, the club should offer him a 2-year, 3-year contract when your own are saying the guy's not a world-class footballer? And this is the propaganda that we're going to see.
That guy needs to get fired from LFC TV.
It's
shit anyway.
ridiculous.
That's why no one subscribes to it.
It's ridiculous because if Liverpool offer Salah just a 1-year contract, for me, in my opinion, it's a lack of respect.
I agree, 100%. And look, here's the thing. I always mention these examples, and there's no need for us to go back to the same example that I like using. Benzema, Ballon d'Or, 34 years old. Lewandowski, highest goal scoring season, 33 years old. Absolute best of the best. And people keep saying Mo to Saudi. Why is it always necessarily Mo to Saudi? Well, you telling me he can't go play for Bayern? He can't go play for Inter? He can't go play for Real Madrid? I mean, you watch Real Madrid, everyone's down the left-hand side. Rodrigo's on the left, Vinicius on the left, Mbappe's on the left. They need someone who's a pure right winger. Maybe they do that, to be honest with you. And make no mistake, Mo, Virgil, Trent, Ali are all players who are minimum top 3, at worst case scenario, if you're a hater, top 5 in their position in world football. That is not easy to replace. And the same football club that cannot sign a DM is not going to be the same football club that replaces those adequately. And for me, these are all linked because I don't know if you guys remember 3 years ago when COVID was the reason we didn't sign players. We spent the whole summer renewing contracts, right? And, I don't like using this word, but the top Reds kept complimenting the club for signing new contracts and, let's get these guys tied down to a long-term contract. They haven't even done that. So there is literally we're 0 from 6. Not a single contract renewal. And we haven't went after the players that we need to go after. And I think this club is moving in negligence. We're moving towards mediocrity. I disagree with one thing Asim said this whole stream and said the future is bright. I don't agree with that. And this legacy summer stuff is all BS, with all due respect, because I've heard it 100 times. And on top of that, now, logically, If I want to replace Virgil, Mo, and Trent, and I need a left back, and I need a DM, all in the same summer next summer, do you think we're gonna pull all that shit off in one summer? Do you actually believe, like deep down, like when you're
Exactly.
sat there, no one's watching, just staring at the roof in your room, like just thinking, do you believe we're gonna replace all these in one summer, in one window? Do you think genuinely believe that that's a thing? Replacing Mo alone is gonna be a headache, because who even is at his level or close in world football that's attainable? Who can even give you half his numbers that's attainable? That's the question. Who can replace Trent's ability? Who can come in and think? I think it's more realistic what Sajad said. We have Connor Bradley. That's a way more realistic thing than us replacing Trent. Centre back, fair enough. It's a stacked market. But we won't be able to sign 4 or 5 players all in the same summer. So that's why I don't necessarily think the future is that bright, to be honest with you. And that Rafael Benitez interview is very telling. Because 15 years later, under a new ownership, ain't shit changed. It's the same stuff. We don't have money, we don't have money, we don't have money. And the funny part is, at least Benitez was able to spend from sales. I mean, we've sold up to 70 million so far. I don't see anyone walking through the door. And if by August 31st we haven't signed anyone, all hell will break loose. And there's a scenario that people aren't talking about in terms of head loss of the Liverpool fan base. We're probably going to beat Brentford because Jota's fit. Probably going to beat
Losing
Brentford.
against United, and it's gonna
Yes.
go mental,
You guys
man.
remember?
Lose
Yes.
against United on that 1st of September without signing anyone, and
Remember 2
Liverpool's
years ago?
YouTube and Twitter. Yeah, I remember everything. I
Remember
love
2
the
years
game,
ago
man.
what happened? Third game of the season was United
Yeah.
away. We
Yeah.
lost 2-1, and then the
2-1,
biggest positives of the positive people turned within 3 weeks. All hell broke loose. And guess what? It's going to be 2 weeks of international break after. So it's going to
Yeah.
be hell for 2 weeks after. But the problem is the transfer window ain't open then. But I know the games, and I know the questions, and I know the answers. You know what the statement, the buzz sentence is going to be, if you'd like, instead of buzzword? There's nothing we can do about it now. Just get behind the lads. 100% that is going to be the response to any constructive criticism to the football club. But anyway, I want to keep the guys.
That night was Milner, Henderson, and someone else.
That was our
I'll
midfield.
tell you a funny story. There's a guy in the summer who bet me. He made a bet with me. Halal bet, because it was only from one side.
Yeah.
He's like, if James Milner starts a single game against the top 6 side, I'll super chat you £100. That's how confident.
Right.
First game against the top big 6 side, Man United, Milner started. He super chatted me £100. I was like, listen, bro, that's the easiest £100 I've made in my whole life. Like, so, yeah, Carvalho played well that day and stuff, but we just went to the shits, man. And listen, we know the answers, we know the questions by now. Stuff isn't going to change unless we actually do something in the next 9 days, other than Richard Hughes selling players. It's time to actually buy someone. Big up to my guy Ed, who says we are 2 or 3 injuries away from finishing 10th. Yes, because it's all good and well talking about Gravenberch now. God forbid if he gets injured, then what you're gonna do, guys? Wataru Endo, Curtis Jones, Soboslai a 10/winger playing DM. Long season incoming, Habibi. So just pray that Nunes learns how to finish, that Diaz learns how to do anything in the final third, that Robertson remembers how to cross, and pray that Salah becomes 17, 18 Salah again. Here, just pray. Just keep praying for Liverpool the whole time. Because Liverpool Football Club, big Liverpool, Bob Paisley said, if you come second, you're nothing. You have to win. And all the standards that was set 30, 40 years ago. 6-time Champions League winners, 19-time league winners, the most decorated, successful club in England. We are reduced to prayer, you guys. So keep praying, because nothing is going to help the Football Club other than prayer. Or maybe if FSG buy Boston Celtics, they decide they want to sell Liverpool. Bi'idhnillah, inshallah. And if there's any Qatari watching right now, call me. Call me, because I will take you to Liverpool to buy the football club right now. Sheikh Jassim, United didn't work. Adi, come buy Liverpool. Wallahi, we are with you. Wallahi, we are with you 100%. Let's spend the money. Let's get back up there and let's cook, Habibi. You get me? So, yeah. Anyway, guys, it's been an absolutely fantastic show. Don't want to keep you guys for too long. BNR is in the description, you guys. It is in the description. All you have to do is just click on the description. Go subscribe to BNR, you frauds. Go and subscribe to their channel right now. Hit the like button and subscribe. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up?
No, Sam. I just want to give you your flowers as well. You've been absolutely brilliant, very good host, and always welcoming. And then Bilal was right. This was long overdue, and I've been inviting you've been inviting me for many occasions, and like you say, to use your term, Asim keeps bottling it.
Alhamdulillah, he admitted it finally. Alhamdulillah, he admitted it finally publicly on the street. Every time I'm in the comment section, oh, he never invites me on. Blah, blah, blah. I invited you on 5 times. Guys, one of his excuses was badminton. Imagine.
No, yeah, he plays. He's 3 times a week. He goes badminton, man, and he doesn't miss it with nobody.
Are you still in the gym? Are you still in the gym?
Nah, sorry, I'm playing badminton. Imagine.
Are you still in the gym, Husam? Are you eating too much mansaf?
No, I am in the gym. I am. I still go to the gym. Khalas, when you see my new setup 4K, I'll flex the bicep.
On those biceps, eh?
Yes, sir. It's on my Snapchat, but you guys.
No, thank you very much for inviting us. Big up to every
respect.
single person in the chat. And honestly, you always show love to us, and keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, keep smashing those likes whenever you're watching Husam. And inshallah, we'll be back very soon.
Yeah, I'll be back on the 31st of August. Me and Husam will do a show.
Yes, 31st of August, inshallah. The rant of all rants. Tonight, I'm back at 12:30 a.m. UK time, inshallah, to talk about Merino and Gundogan. There's going to be a Merino pre-record coming out as well. And tomorrow at 6 p.m., I'm live with Grizz on the channel. So, yeah, we're pushing out content for you guys. Love you all. And see you guys on the next one.
You too, guys. Take care.